with you.
I mean, so you sound optimistic. Then why don't we have more developers come into the VR chain?
So I think, and that's part of like what we've been doing, is getting people to even find out about it and know that it's possible.
Is it that it's so complex or something?
It's not that it's so complex, but kind of like the barriers to entry, right? Because, you know, it's not like VR headsets were so readily available. It's improved significantly, certainly in the last couple of years. But, you know, despite that, I tell you that there are pockets of like VR brilliance around Nigeria that you wouldn't know about. I was in Aba recently, and a young man came up to me who lived in Enugu, and he was like, "Are you from Emisi 3D?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "I've been wanting to meet you." And I was like, "Oh, great, you know, wonderful." And I said, "What do you do?" And he's like, "He does AR." And I'm like, "For real?" And VR. And I'm like, "How did you get started?" In Enugu. And I'm like, "How did you get started?" And he's like, he tried Google Cardboard once and he was hooked. And he was like, "I must be able to make this." And he started. And I see people doing that sort of amazing stuff all around. And we're doing this despite not having access in the sense that other people do. Because of course, you know, there's a lot of reliance on the internet and broadband capability, certainly in other parts of the world, in North America and in Europe. There's a lot more in terms of the structure and support network to, you know, help people into these technologies.
Okay, Judith, can you please give us some insight into some of these headsets? What are some of their features?
Absolutely. So I'm going to talk about two. This is the Google Cardboard that I mentioned. And, you know, I have to say this is truly amazing because, you know, literally constructed with cardboard, right? Check it out. And all you do is open it up here, put your phone in there, you know, and you're ready to go.
And it can be any phone?
It has to be a phone that can run VR. And, you know, if you've got an Android phone, you can go to the Play Store and try and download the Cardboard app. And if you download it, then you're good to go. And with that, you've got VR.
That's all you need?
That's all you need, which is, you know, pretty amazing, right? Okay, and then I just want to talk about kind of like going further up to the high end of the spectrum. And this device over here is the Oculus Rift, which you might have heard about. And this kind of like started the revolution for consumer VR in a sense, right? Because you might have heard about Palmer Luckey and, you know, Facebook purchasing Oculus for $2 billion in 2014. And that really got people talking. So this is the consumer version that is currently available. It comes with the controllers you see over there. So with that, you're able to have a much more engaging experience because you can actually use your hands in the virtual space. But you do need to connect it to a computer. So. Oh, you need a computer.
Yes. What kind of computer?
So a VR-ready computer, and that means that the processing power
a bit high-end, huh?
A bit high-end. The processing power and GPU are certainly more than the norm. So you'd be looking in terms of the GPU. If it was NVIDIA, something that would be, say, like a 980, a 1080 is better. And the processing power, at least a 9-core 5, but preferably 7, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Judith, are you doing anything particular to encourage more women to take up this career?
So that's something that's very close to my heart as well. And the interesting thing is we're seeing women adopt this now. I don't know if you know, but Ira Aderinokun, she earlier in the year advertised a scholarship where she was providing scholarships for Udacity nanodegrees. And, you know, I was like watching excitedly and was thrilled to find out that somebody actually took one up and opted to do the VR nano degree, which was great to see. We also sponsor scholarships for the VR nano degree, and we certainly encourage women to take them up. We are always welcome to events where, you know, we can go and kind of like speak to women and get them to engage with the technology. So for example, much earlier in the year with She Leads Africa, we were at the Slave Festival. We ran a masterclass for women there. We were at Start Zone at an event with over 500 girls, you know, introducing them to virtual reality as well. So yes, very close to my heart to see more women play in the space. And I think what's also exciting is that I've seen women really engage with it. So for example, I've got a friend, Tokes Bakare, who works with autism. And she's very passionate about adopting VR because it can do a number of things. One is get people to understand the condition more. I mean, we talked about empathy with the United Nations. Same thing with something like autism, where, as you can imagine in Nigeria, people would be like, what's wrong with that child? Is it the village? You know, that sort of thing. But, you know, people can get to have an experience where they understand what it's like for that child to be in a public space and how they react to all of the sensations. And you can also start to scale mental health therapy, which, as you know, is something that's incredibly under-resourced in Nigeria.
Thank you for being on Tech Trends today. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
If virtual reality is a trend that is here to stay, then we may do well to encourage more content creators to begin to create more local content than allowing only foreign content to be consumed in that space. Judith believes there is good money to be made from the VR industry, so it is left for you to dig deeper and find the hidden treasures. Thank you for watching the show today. Do follow us on social media, and don't forget, you can watch these and previous editions of the show on the channel's TV YouTube account or via my blog cfatech.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.